for a second, get people on. If not, if don't nobody get on, I'm gonna keep on talking because I got kind of like a bone to pick with this whole Jake Paul debacle, this whole circus of Jake Paul being the face of boxing. And he is. Jake Paul right now is the face of boxing. And the reason why he's the face of boxing is because boxers, professional boxers, they're not doing what they're supposed to do to bring the attention to them as professional fighters. Back in the days, fighters sold themselves. And back in the days, we didn't even there wasn't even social media back in the days. Back in the days, you had to rely on a couple of interviews, newspaper articles, magazine articles, right? And you also had to fight the opposition you're supposed to fight. That's how it was back in the days. Back in the days, fighters sold themselves. That's what they did. And one of the main selling points of fighters back in the days is they fought who they were supposed to fight. It wasn't about purse bids and negotiations and this fight gotta make sense and make this fight make sense. Who is this guy? Who is that guy? It wasn't about that. Back in the days, fighters fought who they were supposed to fight. I would say at least 85% of the time, because obviously you couldn't fight every single person. But for the most part, which is why we have these Hall of Fame fighters, which is why we have these Hall of Fame fights, which is why we have these ATGs, is because a lot of the fighters in the past fought who they were supposed to fight. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point, Jake Paul is just trolling. For one, he knows that the consumer is very, very gullible when it comes to the sport of boxing. Some of you diehard boxing fans may not like it, but what I'm about to say is true. Casual fans are the selling point to boxing. Okay? It's the casual fans. Casual fans are the ones paying pay-per-view. Most of the diehard boxing fans are streaming the boxing. Do you know why diehard fans are streaming the boxing fights? Because diehard boxing fans are watching mostly all of the fights and can't pay for all the fights. Don't want to pay for all of the fights. Salute Bruce. So most of the diehard fans are in fact streaming the fights, while the casual fans, at least 75%, are the ones purchasing the boxing. Okay? And at this point, Jake Paul, salute Brett. And at this point, Jake Paul is trolling the boxing fans because he knows how gullible the consumer, the casual boxing fans is. They will buy the fight. They're not concerned with other fighters, the other people that's in Jake Paul's true weight class, which is obviously heavyweight. You could ask a casual boxing fan right now who's the world champion, and they'll probably bring up Jake Paul because they don't watch boxing. The selling point to this boxing match was Mike Tyson. Secondary, Jake Paul. And as I always like to say, it's not Jake Paul. I noticed that a lot of people is saying that it's Jake Paul is a businessman. Jake Paul is good for business. He's good for boxing. He knows what he's doing. No, it's the entertainment engine. It's just like hip hop. It's just like music. It's just like actors. Whoever the entertainment engine want to make a star, that's who they're going to make a star. It ain't about Jake Paul, because if it was just about Jake Paul and it wasn't about the entertainment engine, the very first time he fought that brother in the YouTube boxing match, his first fight, he lost that fight. Everyone saw him lose that fight. Okay? When he fought that dude, I think his name is Ehsan or Ali Ehsan or whatever his name is. No, not L.A. Ehsan. What was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. But he lost to that guy. I believe this is before he was I believe this is before it was considered a actual professional fight, and he fought the YouTuber and he lost. But it was already set up for him to be a star. They couldn't make it with acting, so they tried another way to make Jake Paul a star. So it's not him. Whoever the entertainment engine want to make a star, that's who they're going to make a star. And Jake Paul wasn't going to sell this fight on Netflix and have this many views unless it was someone like Mike Tyson there. See, contrary to what a lot of you guys believe, Tank Davis, Canelo, Benavidez, Usyk, Anthony Joshua, none of these guys brought that many viewers to the front of their TV, to their laptops, to their iPads, to their cell phones. None of those guys brought that many eyes like Mike Tyson. And that goes to show you the impact of not only Mike Tyson, but it also shows you the state of boxing today. It also shows you that boxing got to step up their game. I've said it time and time again. As long as these boxers, these champions, continue to have these cherry picks, while MMA guys, top fighters are fighting each other, the sport of boxing is going to slowly fade away. And at some point, those casual boxing fans are going to shift over to MMA, and they're starting to. Now, when it comes to Jake Paul and this whole Mike Tyson thing, right? I want to talk about the fight itself. And I noticed that a lot of people were hoping that you were going to get a glimpse of an old Mike Tyson, a glimpse, not even the 80s, but a glimpse of the 90s Mike Tyson. I noticed a lot of people was debating on can Mike Tyson beat Jake Paul. There was a lot of people saying that, well, one punch is all it takes. And you're right. You guys are all absolutely right. It does take one punch. And I do believe at 58, he can hurt Jake Paul. I do believe that. But I also believe that it was in his contract not to fight as hard. It was in his contract for the both of them to go the full 8 rounds so they could come on top. No one gets hurt. Everyone gets paid. And the crowd get to see Mike Tyson for 8 full rounds. I do believe that. What I don't believe, okay, and I want all y'all to pay attention. And if you're on the playback, I want you to pay attention. Because I've listened to a lot of YouTubers, some of them that I'm cool with. And I disagree with a lot of y'all. What I don't believe is Jake Paul is so good that he can carry Mike Tyson. And I don't care if Mike Tyson is 58. Jake Paul is not good enough to carry Mike Tyson. Because at the end of the day, you still got to risk getting hit in the face. trying to bum rush, trying to outskill Mike Tyson. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, his legs are gone. We saw that. We saw every bit of 58 years old in that ring. But I'm sorry, Jake Paul is not that good. And shame on any one of you diehard boxing fans and casual boxing fans who believe that Jake Paul is just so good that he could carry Mike Tyson. Get out of here with that nonsense. You fool. If you believe that, you're a fool. If you believe that Jake Paul is so good that he could carry Mike Tyson, you're an idiot. You're a fool. Period, point blank. And I'll debate anybody on that. Because when we go on Jake Paul's resume, I don't see not one professional fighter on here except for Tommy Fury, who is mediocre at best, and he beat Jake Paul. Okay? Nate Robinson. Who is Nate Robinson? Isn't he a football player? Ben Askren, MMA fighter. Tyrone Woodley, MMA fighter. He fought him twice. Anderson Silva, way past his prime. Ex-MMA fighter. Loses to Tommy Fury. Nate Diaz. Stop it. Michael Perry. Stop it. All you guys are overrating Jake Paul. Is sickening. It is sickening. This guy is not a good boxer. He's not a good fighter. Okay? Bad footwork. Telegraphs his punches. He does everything that a novice does. And I've seen novices better than him. Better than him. The only thing that he has over everyone else in the whole boxing community is an entertainment engine behind him to push him to sell these silly fights. It's silly. Now, I want to talk about this. He's so good for boxing. Keep in mind, it was millions and millions of people watching this fight. Do you think that these people watched this fight and was actually entertained by that garbage? Those people, the casual boxing fans, looked at that fight, and most of them are going to look at boxing like that's pretty much what boxing is nowadays. Boxing is turned into one big joke. And until these guys start fighting each other, it's going to continue to go down that path. A lot of people was trying to say Jake Paul is bringing eyes to boxing. He's not. I will debate anyone with this. He's not bringing new fans to boxing. If anything, he brought fans to watch it and lost fans. You cannot sit there and tell me you was actually entertained by watching a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Stop it. Stop it. The only thing that was entertaining was the idea of Mike Tyson coming back. Separate the two. Separate the two. There's a difference between being entertained by the fight and being entertained by the idea of Mike Tyson coming back. Separate the two. Because that fight was not entertaining. It was pathetic. And a million eyes watched that fight. And a million eyes walked away thinking, wow, Jake Paul must be something else because he beat Mike Tyson. That is also another sad part of this situation. Because now Jake Paul has Mike Tyson on his resume as an actual fight on BoxRec. Mike Tyson sold himself. Because he doesn't care about legacy. And you boxing fans shouldn't care about his legacy either. If he doesn't care about it, why should you? Why? Because I don't care about Mike Tyson's legacy at this point. I don't care. I don't care. I don't. You guys can, but I don't. Not after this. And Canelo supposedly said after his boxing career is over, he'll entertain it. And I don't care about his legacy either. And speaking of boxers, Everyone wants the paycheck. All you boxers trying to call out Jake Paul, you know good and well you just want that paycheck. It ain't about revenge for Mike Tyson. It ain't about trying to fight other old boxers. You guys want that paycheck because you guys know you're going to sign a contract saying there's no winner or some crazy, something silly like that. All you boxers out there trying to call Jake Paul out, don't say you motivated by the fight. Say you motivated by the money because he's the guy that's bringing money. Because all you old heads out there, you guys want to come back and box and fight Jake Paul? Then you're telling me that you're good enough to come back and fight some of these real boxers. Don't open them can of worms. Because the MOBC, my own boxing community, is not having it. I know what time it is. It's a lot of you dudes that retired because you guys just didn't want to fight certain opposition. So you retire early. I seen it. Y'all out there talking about, oh, we want to fight Jay, all you ex-boxers, and you guys just want the paycheck. Y'all saw how much money Mike Tyson got. And y'all see that it is not a hard fight. That you don't have to worry about getting beat up by Jake Paul because he can't beat you guys up. He can't because he's not good enough. But y'all just want the paycheck. So stop with the silliness. Stop with the, I'll fight Jake Paul. He can't beat me. He can't beat me. As soon as you guys sign a contract, there's going to be stipulations in that contract, and y'all know it. So stop the nonsense. You ain't fooling me at all. But to sit there and say that Jake Paul is he's so good for boxing, I don't believe that. He may be good for boxing, but he's not good for boxing for me. And he's not good for boxing for all the diehard boxing fans out there who's watching fighters like Shushu, who's watching fighters like Zepeda. Tevin Farmer and Zepeda was a heck of a fight. You had to watch it on YouTube. They didn't even have the decency to put it on Netflix. Now, which one of the viewers who was watching it solely on Netflix went to go on YouTube to watch Zepeda and Tevin Farmer fight? The only people who did that was the diehard boxing fans. Now, I give Serrana her credit with Taylor. That was a heck of a fight. And I'm not into female boxing, but that was a good fight. But don't think that, all of a sudden, these million of viewers just going to be watching female boxing. Because they're not. They're not. And the only reason why that many eyes is watching Serrano is because of Jake Paul. Okay? So if you want to say it's good for her, yeah, it's good for her, but it's not good for boxing. It's good for Taylor and Serrano, yeah, but it's not good for boxing. We got to the point where professional fighters, active fighters, Beterbiev called out Jake Paul. Pathetic. An current undisputed light heavyweight champion called out Jake Paul. Pathetic. It's pathetic. I can't believe that today's sport of boxing has a guy like Jake Paul taking over the sport. And it's really sad. It's really sad to watch a guy who was groomed somehow to be a star. Him and his brother was groomed. That's what they do. He was on Disney. Groomed. Now they got podcasts. They got endorsements. Logan Paul's on the wrestling. Jake Paul just fought Mike Tyson. Who would have thought? I ask a lot of you old heads out there. The OGs. I'm an OG too. Who would have thought 1987, would you believe if someone said to you, one day, Kid Dynamite, aka Iron Mike Tyson, will fight a Disney YouTuber who is a novice, who has no boxing skills whatsoever? One day, Mike Tyson is going to fight an official boxing match with a kid who comes from Disney and YouTube. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. And here we are. A kid who came from money already is taking over the sport of boxing. Jake Paul is more popular than the undisputed heavyweight champion, Usyk. Jake Paul is more popular than the undisputed super middleweight, Canelo. Jake Paul is more popular than the undisputed light heavyweight champion, Beterbiev. Jake Paul is more popular than the undisputed champion, 118 pounds? I can't remember. Inouye. Jake Paul is more popular than Ryan Garcia, the biggest clown in boxing. Jake Paul is more popular than these guys. Why? Because he fought all these old MMA fighters? Or is it because boxing let a guy step his foot into the door and take over boxing? See, if more professional boxing weren't so afraid of losing an opportunity and they spoke up about Jake Paul, I do believe it would have put a monkey wrench in this whole plan. But it didn't. Boxers are so afraid to lose an opportunity to make money or lose fans that they support someone like Jake Paul. And it's pathetic. It truly is. I mean, would you believe that the former lightweight undisputed champion at one time fought on the undercard of Jake Paul? That's right. Devin Haney fought on the undercard of Jake Paul, and guess what? All those Jake Paul fans, they don't even know who Devin Haney is. And a lot of you guys want to sit there and tell me that Jake Paul is good for boxing. Get out of here. I'll debate any one of you guys. Any one of y'all out there. Friend or foe. I'll debate any one of y'all. He's not good for boxing. I don't care about... Oh, he brings a lot of money to him, to his promotional company, MVP, to Netflix, to whoever, whatever boxing organization. But it doesn't do anything for boxing. All those people on Netflix who was watching from their living room have no clue who Bivol is. They have no clue who Morrell is. They have no clue who Richard Hitchens is. Stop telling me that this guy is good for boxing, because he isn't. At all. Oh yeah, Jake Paul could box. He could box. He's like your average guy in the gym. He could box. He could probably beat up a lot of you YouTubers out there. A lot of you YouTubers out there. Probably can. But can he beat a professional, a true top 10, top 15 professional, top 20 professional fighter? Because it would have to be at heavyweight or cruiserweight. I mean, 230 pounds, you're heavyweight. I mean, can he beat Joseph Parker? Can he beat Dubois? Can he beat Bacoli? Can he beat Anderson? Can he beat Big Baby Miller? Can he beat Anthony Joshua? No, he can't. So the next time I hear a YouTuber, even if I'm cool with you, say that Jake Paul is so good that he was able to carry Mike Tyson for 8 rounds, I will make a video about you and I will destroy you respectfully. Of course, in all fun. Trust me on that. Because here at the MOBC, my own boxing community, Jake Paul is not a good boxer. He's not a good fighter in that ring. And if he fought Tommy Fury today, he would lose again. And if he fought Tommy Fury 5 or 6 times, he would lose again. And Tommy Fury is ranked at, we don't even know how low he's ranked. He's a novice himself. So is Jake Paul good or bad for boxing? The answer from the MOBC is no. He is not good for boxing. This is the MOBC, my own boxing community.